world. All right, time for the S&P 500 and some motherfucking Bitcoin. All right, guys. So, all right, let me take this shit off. So look, notice how now it's 3 o'clock Arizona time. You see Bitcoin here now acting more positive, more bullish. I was saying how we were gonna be here by 1 o'clock and try to break through, and we'll be here by 5 or try to break it at 5. If not, we were gonna struggle and just be in this area and to pay attention to Ethereum and Bitcoin, but more to Ethereum. You see how Ethereum was still holding. Let me take this shit off. I haven't updated the Fibonacci, but Fibonacci is also important. Notice how there's a 50 area, 2-hour candle down there, 3-hour candle, 4-hour candle. Notice how this is your to focus on right here. Notice how it wouldn't drop. Notice how the perfect box. Oh, there was a 3 candle box. Your support. I mean watch. Your support, your resistance, and then the last 12-hour candle was really gonna be a ram point, especially this part right here. You want to see how it's gonna react right now. It all depends how the S&P or the actual real market is opening, or how it reacted over the weekend, which should be opening or it's already open. So if you guys see, nothing bad happened over the weekend. No bad tweet, no bad comment. Here's the market. Here's the S&P 500, and it's the 1-hour candle. There you can see it active, and that's right where you left. Here's where we close for the week. That's where we are right now. All right, so since the real market opened happy or neutral, that makes sense why Bitcoin and Ethereum were holding this whole area. Otherwise, it would have dropped. ¿Y te vas? You leaving? Oh, I thought you leaving. That's why you see it holding. For example, this Bitcoin 1 hour. That's why you see it holding since what was this? Saturday. So look, Thursday, Friday. So this whole time, here's Friday, Saturday. Peace, dude. Here's Friday, Saturday, and look how bullish that was, especially Saturday night. And the fact that it was holding, that's what I said was to pay attention, especially towards Saturday night and Sunday morning. It really tells you how the market is really feeling, especially if you see it, crypto start going on down. That's something got tweeted or something got said, or war, Iran, something bad. But as you see it, this pickup letting me know that nothing really crazy was happening over the weekend. But to stay cautious, because towards 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, we might see some of that. And the next spot is your 3 o'clock. Not just because of halftime of the last 4 candle of crypto for the market to close, but the S&P 500 opens. And that is like, when the S&P 500 opens, it's like they synchronize again. They're always synchronized, but it's like they attach again or whatnot. And there's more volume, more action. Also because it's also the last 3 hours or hour and a half or so of Bitcoin to close for the weekend. So a lot of volume, a lot of action. Also seeing where Ethereum's at, seeing where Bitcoin's at. People get more and more and more want to be in that price before any crazy happens the next week. Or also, it's just manipulation. This market is so manipulated by the banks and whatnot. So once you start seeing it, you're seeing where they close, where these candles close, where 4 candles close at what time they move, what day what date this data is released, also what time the data is released. For example, when Powell talks normally around Arizona time around 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, then 11:30. Release date at 11. He talks at 11:30. He'll talk for maybe 30 minutes. That'll be 12 o'clock. The market has 1 more hour to close. And then they'll ask quick questions. It'll be like maybe 12:15, 12:30. And then from there, the market will release. Or finally, because they won't say nothing and go based off the last reporter's comment and answer. And then it'll go for the final move. So it's like, yo, you could have made this shit way earlier. Like, why do sometimes? What do you talk sometimes at 6 in the morning Arizona time, but it'll be some little conference that you showed up at, but it won't be the big news. Why does the big news always have to be towards the end of the market closing? Well, at least from Arizona time. But anyways, too much talking. Back to Ethereum. This is, let's see how we close for the. Sheesh, man. Sheesh. Day. Let's see month wise where we at. All-time highs right here, you guys. All-time highs right here. That's why I say this last weekly right here was very important for it to class, because if you break this last weekly right here, we yeah, this picture of the butterfly, especially where, as I said, it mattered where the S&P opened, because we closed by the all-time high. And if with this data we have in CPI, I think we have inflation data, and we have what else, consumer. So that might be what will either pull us back again, and the market is also going to start with their whole, is this a peak, is this signs of so and so. And again, investors, the market's going to get pulled back, and maybe Ethereum and Bitcoin also going to get pulled back. But since Ethereum already closed at its all-time high that it hasn't done it in a fucking while, that even if we get pulled back a little bit, it's gonna be normal for Ethereum, because Ethereum shot up like crazy. So it's gonna need something like some little pullback like that, which is normal. Especially in the 4-hour candle time period. If we drop half of that, because we shut up like crazy, so it makes sense for the market now to have some sort of fucking little bullshit, retrace on down, and again, investors do the whole YouTube bullshit. Is Ethereum gonna create an all-time high? Was that the peak of it? All this crap. Some of them are gonna sell. Some of them are gonna take advantage of this dip it's gonna do. And then again, by the end of August, again, we're gonna start getting, whether it be good news, some bullshit, and watch, because it didn't make sense to me for the S&P 500, right? Because it's all correlated. If the S&P 500, you were hearing that, so we had the dip, right, with the bad data on Thursday. And then I was like, all they're doing is fucking getting a discount. All they're doing is getting a discount, because why would the market then just within hours the next day just pick up like nothing? That all they were doing is getting a discount, because again, that pullback, guess what it did to crypto? That same day, it dropped it down. That's Bitcoin right there. What did it do to Ethereum? Just guess, you guys. It gave it that pullback. Why? Because these governments and politics are buying Tom Lee. Like, if you see everything, if you pick up on the news with crypto and who's buying and what they're doing, you got Tom Lee, financial investor for J.P. Morgan. He was a analyst financial, and you can hear him have talks about crypto, how he was advising J.P. Morgan, yo, you should get 2% of Bitcoin in your blah 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 bullshit. So now he's over here. He becomes the chairman of the board for this stock right here. Where's it at? BMNR. And look at that stock go up, right? All because he bought, I think, 200 million or $200 billion worth of Ethereum, and made as a treasury for this stock right here. So look how, as Ethereum was going up, how also this stock was following it, because they're mimicking what what MicroStrategy is doing. So it's gonna do the same thing as Bitcoin as you see their stock. All right, but tomorrow there's no news for the market. So it's just gonna be based on he said, she said, tweets, comments. Um, so we have Bitcoin by the all-time high. Here's the all-time high. It doesn't really have any really sort of hard resistance. Since look, here's the daily. That's daily candle, and also it broke that daily, but that three candle box, the three candle box strategy that I mentioned. Look how clean it finished that. Shot above the 50, and and we still have an hour and a half, almost 2 hours already. Pretty much 2 hours to hold this. We're gonna close this fucking week. Crazy. And that's a week. Woo! You better buy your tokens, especially load up on some XRP for sure. All right, you guys. So that's the update for this. Just want to tell you guys, I was calling out this place since 2 weeks ago. I was talking about how the S&P and Bitcoin were gonna start rallying up, and then this week I really fucking, my bad for cussing, but I went crazy with that shit. So here you are, the weekly for Bitcoin. If that's what I'm telling you, we're about to go higher. Nah, I can't help you guys. All right, I'm out. Thank you guys for paying attention and subscribing.